You're working so hard. You're doing all the correct things. You're exercising. You're learning new skills. You're working on your business or on your job or on your studies. You're doing all the correct things. Yet it feels like you're going nowhere. Like you're not moving in any direction at all. You're doing everything that everyone told you, yet nothing's changing. Well, let me tell you, because there is one piece, the missing piece of the puzzle that you need to understand. And that piece is time. Because let's look at a very simple example. Let's look at some dude who is in extremely good shape. You know, you got 12% body fat, jacked, everything, right? Let's say you want to look better than that guy. You want to look better than them. Well, what do you need to do? Well, very simply, do what they do, but something more and something better. So, go to the gym 3 times a week if they're going 2 times a week, or go to the gym 4 times a week if they're going 3 times a week, and sleep 9 hours if they sleep 8 hours, and eat a bit healthier if they eat a certain way, and so on. You do what they do, but a bit better, right? And now you start doing it. You do everything a tiny bit better and a tiny bit more than they do. That means that you should eventually look better than them. But after 2 weeks, 2 months, they still look better than you. They're still in better shape than you. Because once again, time. It takes years to become exceptional. It takes years to develop an amazing physique. And everyone understands this when I tell the example. Oh yeah, of course it takes time. Of course you can't just, be on a diet for 2 days and expect to have a 6-pack. It takes time. You have to be on it for months, if not years, depending on your starting point. And everyone understands this. Yet when it comes to business or studies or social media, everyone always expects that you can somehow go from 0 to hero in 1 month. But it's impossible. You need time. But I'm gonna guarantee you, as long as you're doing the correct things, you're constantly learning, constantly looking for new things and opportunities, you're working hard, you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're taking care of yourself, you're working on whatever that goal of yours is, you will get there. You simply have to have the patience of time. And that is the hard part. The hard part is having the patience to stick to that one thing and say no to all the other opportunities around. Because you look around and you see all these other opportunities. I could be making fitness videos instead of these videos. I could be making the philosophy videos that I used to make. Or I could be, running a business. I was a part of a business before, and I could be doing that instead of doing anything on social media. There's so many other opportunities, and you can do anything, but you can't do everything. You can do anything, but not everything. You have to choose one and stick to it. And that is the hard part. And when you look around, you always see the grass is greener on the other side. But you only see the grass, not the shit that is used to fertilize it. And so let me remind you, as long as you're doing more than your competition and you're doing something better than your competition, you will beat them. But it just takes time. But you have to specialize. You can't jump from one thing to another and expect to get anywhere. Because you won't. You need the time. You need the consistency of years. When I started going to the gym, I thought in 6 months I would look like a fitness influencer. Now I've been going for years. And only now can I look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, I kind of look like what I wanted to look like in the beginning. Now I look like what I thought I would look like after 6 months. In actuality, it took, like 2.5 years. So you always think it's gonna happen faster than it's actually going to happen. And just to prove the point that you have to specialize and focus on one thing and you cannot do everything, even though you want to, let's look at sports. Because it's once again an amazing example. how many NHL players are also NFL players? How many people who play in the NBA are also UFC fighters? Zero. Zero. Because everyone understands that for you to get into any one of those leagues, you have to dedicate your entire life to it. You have to sacrifice everything else and dedicate everything to that one thing. And only then can you become good enough to get to those top leagues. And so the dude who is doing ice hockey on Monday, football on Wednesday, and basketball on, Friday, he's gonna lose at ice hockey to the dude who goes to ice hockey practice 3 times a week. And he's gonna lose at football to the guy who goes to football training 3 times a week, and so on. So he loses to everyone who specializes. And everyone understands this at their core. If you do not specialize in something, you will never become exceptional at it. You will never become good enough to reach the top echelon where it's impressive. You can't do everything. You have to pick one thing and stick to it for years. And that is the hard part. And that is the part that everyone forgets. Everyone has their, I'm going to start this business. And then they do it for 2 months. Then surprised that they're not Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. And then they give up and they jump on the next thing. But by constantly switching up the things, you guarantee that you never reach the top echelon. Because to reach the top echelon, you have to do something not just exceptionally well, but also exceptionally long. The duration which you do something impacts how high you can climb. Once again, a real life example. If you have a mountain that you're supposed to climb, do you think you'll get farther in 5 days or in 1 day? Everyone understands that you will get farther in 5 days than in 1 day. Yet once again, people look at business or social media or whatever, you want to be the best doctor in the world, you're going to have to stick to being a doctor for a long time. You can't be like, I'm going to go become an engineer for a few years and then come back to being a brain surgeon. And, no. The dude who just stuck to being a brain surgeon is gonna be improving for those 2 years that you're an engineer and you're gonna be left behind. And so you have to specialize and you have to stick to it. That is the one thing that I have learned, is that you simply have to decide what you're gonna do and then do it for 5 years, 10 years, stick to it for decades, and only then will you become the exceptional person who is exceptionally great. Name a single person who became a top, 0.001% at anything within the first 6 months. Nobody. None of the players in any sports league that is at the top level did that sport for 6 months or 2 years. They always stuck to it for literally tens of years. Even the youngest, footballers that that are 19 and in the top leagues, even them started when they were 5 years old. Even they have more than 10 years of experience. So you're always gonna have to just stick with it. And that is the reminding message that I'm going to give you and that I want to remind you of. You are probably already doing the correct things. You are already doing more than your competition. You are already doing things better than your competition. You will beat them as long as you stick to it. The only missing piece of the puzzle is time. And as long as you're now willing to dedicate the time to that one thing without getting distracted by saying no to all the other opportunities, then you guarantee yourself victory. Because most people cannot stick to anything for more than 2 months. And so go out there, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.